90-degree angle, you sometimes have a hard time at home doing that. You have a hard time gluing them together. This way, it's not so hard to glue it together. These are called corrugated fasteners, and the mistake that most guys make is that they'll get a corrugated fastener that's too large or too deep. You want it so that it'll only go halfway into the wood, because if you get like a 3/4 inch, it'll go way down into the wood and it'll split the wood. It really won't hold anything. So when you get the corrugated fasteners from the hardware store, make sure that they're about half of the wood. If you get 1-inch wood, get 1/2-inch corrugated fasteners. And sometimes if you're lucky enough, you can get a 1/4-inch corrugated fastener, and they're better yet because they won't split the wood up so bad. Okay, gang, here is the secret glue that most people won't tell you about. It's available at your hardware store. It's called will hold glue. And if you can't get will hold, make sure that you get the white stuff. It's sort of like whipped cream, soft whipped cream. That's the stuff. It's made out of milk. And it's really great stuff. Now, you got to use this on the corners, because if you don't, there's so much pressure on those corners with wrapping the silk around. I'll show you later. And so much pressure from the silk screen machine that you're going to have to glue those corners real good and let them dry real good, so it'll be really hard when you put that silk on there. Now when you glue the corners, you want to make sure you get glue on both sides. If you get glue just on one side, it won't be enough. See there? That's called a Big Daddy glue joint, because it's got lots of glue on there. Don't go away, I'm going to go get a hammer. I finally got it. Now, the trick on this joint here is you got to put 2 nails on one side and 1 on the other. And so the 1 on one side is in the middle of the 2 on the other side. I know it sounds complicated, but I want you to watch. The trick with these corrugated fasteners is they have a sharp side to them. You want to make sure you get that sharp side down, because if you try to beat it in upside down, you're going to have a little problem splitting the wood, and it won't hold that good. Now we're going to turn it over to the other side, and we're going to put it right in the middle of the other 2. Now when that corner dries, that'll be stiff as a rock. It'd be better than those $3 silkscreen frames that you'd have got from the big town guys. Glue. Now see, Big Daddy really made a mistake. He put it on the wrong side there. You have to wipe it off, put it on the right side.
Mommy, here!
You got to be be fast when you make a mistake. You got to use your thumb and any kind of finger to get that mistake fixed.
Don't forget to do that.
One thing I forgot to mention about this corrugated fastener is that when you get them, you look real close at them, and these nail things are going off like this. So that when you nail it down into the frame, it actually pulls it together. So you don't have to worry about getting that joint too close when you first start nailing. Just nail away, and it'll come closed by itself. Okay, gang, here we have the two frames in, both glued and with the fasteners on the side. Now we've got to let them dry for about 2 hours so that glue will be nice and rigid when we put the silk on. And when we come back, I'm going to go get some silk right now, what I call silk, and when we come back, we'll be able to put that silk on here. One of these days I'm going to do a special on staple guns, because they can really get to be a problem after a while, especially when you can't get staples after you once buy the staple gun and the staples. Then the guy figures, well, you don't have to carry the staples anymore, you got some off-brand staple gun. The staple you're looking for silk is a little short job, probably 1/4 of an inch or less, and one that's pretty thin, because you got to go through some really heavy wood. So the thicker the staple is, the harder time you're going to have it driving in there. And then get your staple gun from your local hardware store that you know the guy's going to have staples for a long time. See, gang, when I was over in Africa, that's the way the women used to have the stuff across their face. But this right here is what people refer to as silk. There's all kinds of silk. There's these orange colors for withstanding the sun's rays. From the back, if you don't have a filler in the back, it won't hurt it to get the sun through the back. There's these little pinky jobs that are real fine weaves. These are probably $10 a yard. Then we have this stuff here called terracotta, which I get. It's $3 a yard, $3.50 a yard. It's 42 inches wide. And not only is silk made out of different things like synthetic materials, it also has a weave to it. And that weave is like an intertwined weave. And there's also a different type of thread. One thread is what they call a monofilament, and the other thread that you get through here, bifilament, has a little, it's not a single thread, it's got like a little weave, they're twisted together little things. The monofilament is the one that has a single thread, it's not a weave. So you don't have to worry about that, because on this cheap stuff, you're not really worried about getting a lot of detail. When you get into the stuff like watch faces and real small detail decals, then you'll have to worry about things like that. And when you do get around to that, you can go to your local silkscreen guy and ask him what kind of silk to use.